Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level. We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth. The Trump administration wins at the Supreme Court. Countries come to the table to negotiate tariffs. Scientists fail to learn from Jurassic Park, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. On Monday, the Supreme Court backed the Trump administration's efforts to deport what it claims are Venezuelan gang members. The 5-4 ruling allows continued use of the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime law, though it stipulated that migrants are entitled to due process. Chief Justice John Roberts, acting on his own, also temporarily blocked a court order requiring the return of a mistakenly deported Salvadorian man. Trump's Justice Department officials conceded that an administrative error led to the Maryland man's deportation, but argued that it is not the place of the courts to dictate immigration policy, and that the man could not be brought back as he is in Salvadorian custody. The ruling specified that Trump opponents filed their cases in the wrong jurisdiction, and venue shopping for friendly judges is not permissible. After President Trump threatened to add another 50% tariff onto China, Beijing once again vowed to hold the line. The U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake, its Commerce Ministry said in a statement. The threat once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S., the statement said. China will never accept it. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end, it added. The move, if executed, is viewed to almost freeze Chinese imports to the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Tuesday the U.S. holds a substantial advantage over China as the two nations exchange threats in a burgeoning trade war. I think it was a big mistake, this Chinese escalation, because they're playing with a pair of twos, Bessent said during an interview on CNBC's Squawk Box. What do we lose by the Chinese raising tariffs on us? We export 1/5 to them of what they export to us. So that is a losing hand for them. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who talked about fighting the United States over tariffs prior to the tariffs implementation, has now said the European Union is ready to negotiate with President Trump over tariffs, noting that we have offered 0 tariffs for industrial goods. Speaking in Brussels Monday, the head of the EU's executive arm called Trump's economic policy a major turning point for the United States. These tariffs come first and foremost at immense costs for U.S. consumers and businesses, but at the same time, they have a massive impact on the global economy. Especially hard hit are the developing countries, she said. Nonetheless, we stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table, she added. Treasury Secretary Bessent announced that almost 70 countries have stepped up to begin negotiations. Trump announced that the U.S. and Iran have been holding direct talks and that a very big meeting will take place on Saturday for the first time since Trump abandoned the Obama-era nuclear accord in 2018. When asked what a potential new nuclear deal might look like, Trump said, "I think it'll be different and maybe a lot stronger." It was unclear who from the Trump administration would conduct the meeting, Secretary of State Marco Rubio or Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. Scientists have successfully resurrected the dire wolf, a species that went extinct around 13,000 years ago, but grew in prominence recently thanks to Game of Thrones. DNA from the fossils of the long-disappeared wolf was used to modify that of the gray wolf, combining the two in a process known as de-extinction. One of the project scientists explained the process, saying, "We're creating these functional copies of something that used to be alive." Apparently, the scientists have learned nothing from Jurassic Park. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.